Well, folks, it's the conclusion of the CCL regular season today for the Conejo Oaks, and there are massive playoff implications on the line. I'm Josh Mechanick, joined alongside by Austin, Gregory, and Sammy Holladay as we bring you this season finale for the Oaks, and they're hoping they're still playing more baseball this upcoming week. With a win today against the Academy Barons or a San Luis Obispo Blues loss to the Foresters, the Oaks will make the playoffs for this fourth straight summer. Fourth time in 5 seasons, I should say, the third straight summer. And they're facing the Academy Barons in an attempt to do so. We know the Oaks roster has thinned greatly over the last week or so, and the pitching staff is not that deep at this point. DJ Contreras will start the game, and then from there, it'll probably be inning by inning. The Oaks are going to take it batter by batter as they look to win this game and cement themselves in the playoffs for the third straight year. Well, Sammy, 3 straight L's for the Oaks coming in today, but that doesn't matter. With the win today, they're in. How do you think the Oaks accomplished that feat?
Well, it's just a matter of having good at-bats, pitching well. The pitching was actually pretty good yesterday. It was just the offense didn't quite do enough, only able to muster up 3 runs as DJ gets the game going, missing outside. It's just, you just got to have some balls bounce their way. Yesterday it just seemed like nothing could really go their way. They were scrapping. It was a good scrap. It was a really good game, 4-3 ball game. And in the top of the 8th, Zach Dode gets thrown out trying to tag as the tying run. Max Ballou for the Foresters throwing about a 300-foot seed to beat him by about a step and a half. It was really one of the most remarkable plays that we've seen over the summer.
And that was the second of 2 base runners that the Oaks had thrown out at the plate early in the first inning. Eli Paton was cut down trying to score. So with a 4-3 loss, and that includes 2 guys getting thrown out at home. The game breaks differently. That throws offline by a bit. The Oaks could win yesterday and could have clinched their playoff spot. But that doesn't matter. Just got to win today, and they're in. The 2-2 from Contreras is rolled over softly to the right side. Nick Leahy throws over to first for the first out.
And they'll have a good chance to do so with all due respect to the Barons. The Oaks have had their number here at Sparky Anderson Field. I don't recall, at least in my time being here broadcasting for the last 2 summers, the Barons being able to beat the Oaks here at Sparky Anderson Field.
And it's a Barons team that's having an abysmal summer, 8-26 up to this point. They've lost their last 3 games as well. And the 2-hitter Thomas Williams is up there now. Williams is followed by Kamayu Neighbors, who bats 3rd. Dylan Lena is the cleanup hitter. Deshaun Lanier bats 5th, with Jacob Klonowski in right field batting 6th. Maximus Berber, the first baseman, is the 7-hitter. Max Diaz bats 8th, and Alex Loriano, the catcher, rounds out the lineup for Compton. Against Thomas Williams. Contreras looking to get back in the strike zone, back in the count here, and he does just that, the strike. That one's rolled foul along the left field line towards the bullpen where Jackson Jordan is lightly tossing. Jordan's obviously a guy that has been primarily used in the 8th or 9th inning for the Oaks in save situations or high leverage spots. Could be a game where we see Jackson early. The Oaks potentially wanting just to get their best pitcher in there for as many innings as they can. 2-2 pitch to Williams. It's fouled away. And with the win, the Oaks would clinch the playoff spot with just a 16-19 record. It's bizarre to have these last two teams fighting for a spot to both be this many games under 500. 2-2 is fouled away.
Well, with the roster being as depleted as it is, I would venture to say that the only two arms today that are unavailable for sure are Cody Carson and Charlie Adamson, who are both stretched for their longest outings of the season last night.
This one's lifted out to left field. Brady Francisco in left field today makes the catch. And the rest of the Oaks defense is as follows. The infield, Eli Paton at third. Zach Schwartzberg at short. Nick Leahy at second, with Chris Wright moving over to first base from the outfield. And then the outfield is Brady Francisco in left field. We've seen him do a lot of catching this summer. And Moyer in center with Austin Carrillo in right. And Brendan Durfee completes the battery with DJ Contreras behind the plate. Nobody out, nobody on, and 2 outs for Kamayu Neighbors, who's been the best hitter for the Barons this summer, and he will be joining the Santa Barbara Foresters this week for their upcoming playoff trip to Wichita.
Is that confirmed?
Yes, I talked to one of their players as that one's lifted out to left field. Caught by Brady Francisco to end a 1-2-3 first inning for DJ Contreras. Very efficient from DJ, could have potentially bought himself another inning. And we head to the bottom of the first with Moyer, Carrillo, and Leahy coming up. Mac Moyer leads things off for the Oaks in the bottom of the first inning, and he bunts on the first pitch. It's a beauty. It's going to be a tough play. Barehand attempt at third base, but Moyer beats it for a leadoff single.
Great effort at third by Williams. Going with the barehand, just Moyer just a little too fast for him.
And just an excellent job by Williams to even make that close, with that being almost perfect bunt there from Moyer. And that's something we've seen from him more often. That's his second bunt hit this week. Brings up Austin Carrillo. The same 1-2 in the lineup for the Oaks as it's been for the past few weeks. Moyer and Carrillo hitting 1-2. But then in the 3 spot, it's a bit different. Nick Leahy moves up in the lineup to bat third. He's playing second base today. Brendan Durfee, of course, maintains his role in the cleanup spot. Drew Smith bat fifth. Today he's the designated hitter, getting his arm a rest today. Eli Paton's the third baseman batting sixth. Chris Wright hitting seventh with Brady Francisco and Zach Schwartzberg to round out the lineup. The Oaks mixing up the defense a bit today with Francisco in left and Wright coming from right field to first base. Can't recall if we've seen Chris at first before.
Chris Wright?
Yeah.
First, yeah, he played first earlier in the summer. That was real early though. I think that was even before Max Holladay
joined. Got it. Holladay, another one of the guys for the Oaks that has dissipated as the roster's shortened. It's 0-2 to Carrillo. Moyer gets a great jump, and the pitch hits Carrillo. The Oaks catch a break as Carrillo is in a 0-2 hole before he gets plunked and heads on over to first.
Once again, that's just something that Austin Carrillo has been doing all summer, getting on base any way he can. 0-2 pitch, and it's running a little bit inside, and Moyer had that base stolen. He could have chose to get out of the way and get his teammate a stolen base, but did one better and got himself into second anyway and got himself on first. Gives a real nice opportunity for Nick Leahy to drive in a couple runs here.
Leahy shows bunt but pulls back. This summer, primarily when Leahy's been in the lineup, he's been in the bottom third. But with the way he's been swinging the bat lately, the Oaks move him up in the lineup to the 3 spot. And the Oaks are facing off against Marcellus Henry. Henry goes to Long Beach Community College. He's given up 20 runs this summer in 10 innings, but 12 of them have been unearned. Henry does a little inside move, probably just to see if Leahy was going to show bunt, and he did. Henry's been giving up a lot of damage. 16 hits in those 10 innings, plus 8 walks. Oaks looking to take advantage of this first and second no-out situation. Leahy pulled back on that bunt attempt, but it's in there for a strike.
Really like this decision here to have Nick Leahy bunt and try to move both runners over for Brendan Durfee, who had an absolutely remarkable day at the plate yesterday. He was 4 for 4. He did everything he could to try to clinch a playoff spot for the Oaks yesterday.
Leahy bunts this one back and foul. 1-2. We saw yesterday the Foresters attempted to bunt with 2 strikes. Don't think that the Oaks are going to be doing the same thing in this first inning. Leahy's going to look to put the ball in play. The outfield is quite shallow. Looking to find a gap, potentially score 2 runs. But the priority for Leahy is just getting the runners over. Henry looks at second a couple of times before coming home, and Leahy fouls it away to stay alive. Leahy picked up a knock in yesterday's contest. And after struggling a bunch to begin the summer, Leahy's up to 15 walks and 10 hits. Been really getting on base at a premium lately. His on-base percentage almost 160 points higher than his average. Looking to continue to fight in this 1-2 count against Henry. And he takes a breaking ball below the zone. That's the location that Henry's looking for a chase pitch, potential strikeout pitch. Leahy was able to spin on it. 2-2. This is up and in. Count runs full. No radar gun for today's contest, it looks like. Do we have TrackMan Velo? Oh. So we've been told by our TrackMan for today as that one's outside. Throwing to second doesn't mean anything. Walk. But Henry's been sitting 84, 85 with his fastball today. We'll be getting TrackMan updates from the Arroyo Seco's TrackMan, as our own Cameron Deck is still unavailable for the rest of the weekend.
Business trip.
Cam's got some important business to attend to. But we still have that data available to us.
It's never a good sign when the pitching coach has to go out to the mound in the first inning.
And I was told pregame by a Barons player that this is a staff day. They're going to be pitching everyone an inning or two max and just let everyone go. Bases loaded, nobody out for Brendan Durfee. The Oaks have a big chance to take an early lead here. And one of their best hitters is at the plate to try to do so. With his 4-for-4 day yesterday, Durfee has gone past Mac Moyer and the leaderboard for batting average. Moyer hitting .325, which is second behind Durfee's .327 clip now. Ooh, strike called on Durfee. That wasn't even Laureano did not even try to frame it. A lot of chirps from the Oaks dugout, and the home plate umpire tells him to knock it off. The frustration is definitely because Laureano didn't even stick it. He just threw his glove down. Durfee looking to stay hot. And he does so. Driving one to right center field. Definitely deep enough to score a run. And getting Carrillo over to third. Great swing by Brendan Durfee to drive in a run and move Carrillo to third base, where he's just 90 feet away from scoring a second.
And Durfee just builds off that 4-for-4 performance yesterday. It was really a much-needed one for Durfee yesterday. As Josh mentioned, Durfee back up to the team lead in average, but it's significantly lower than what Durfee's average was near the break, as he was hitting nearly 380 earlier this summer, and he had dropped below 300 at one point, but now he's back above 300 and back at the team lead, and he drives in the first run of the game there with a nice sac fly.
He's just been hitting just about every ball hard the past couple of days. In yesterday's contest, it seemed like he was competing with himself, trying to hit each ball harder and harder throughout the game. Carrillo dances off a third as Drew Smith takes a first pitch ball.
Oh, wrote that down as a strike.
Maybe the umpire's not giving a high strike because he called that low one to Durf, but that one definitely looked like it got the top of the zone, but it was ruled a ball.
Same strike zone as last night.
Drew Smith looking to drive in a run. Carrillo at third, Leahy at first. Smith hits one softly on the ground to short. Bassett goes to second for one. No chance to get Smith at first. And the Oaks score a second. It's good hands there by Bassett to just get the out at second base. And Neighbors has a quick turnover to first, but just with how softly that ball was hit, impossible to double up Drew Smith there.
Exactly the start to the game that the Oaks were looking for. 2 runs in the first. Very good inning from DJ Contreras. Just a picture-perfect start to this game that they will need to win to clinch a playoff spot. Don't want to rely on the Blues to limp their way into the playoffs. Just want to go in with a little bit of momentum.
Well, they've certainly limped their way to this point, trying to clinch a playoff spot. 3 straight losses for the Oaks. trying to finish the regular season strong. And as Sammy said, get that momentum before the playoffs start on Tuesday. Another pickoff attempt before the 2-0 comes home to Eli Paton. And if the Oaks do clinch that playoff spot, they would be traveling to Orange County to take on the Riptide on Tuesday.
Nope.
That's what I was told today.
Yes, that's correct.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, you weren't here.
I was told that the Riptide didn't reserve.
That's what I was
field.
told until today.
Yeah, that's what we were originally
they
told.
got it done?
Yeah.
No, so what happened was they didn't reserve it for the weekend. So if there's a championship that they're in, they don't get to host it. They did reserve it for the week, though.
That broken bat over to second base, Neighbors, as Paton carries the bat all the way down the line. Still never dropped it. He's savoring every last drop of that bat before he cracks it over his knee. The Oaks play 2 in the bottom of the first, and we head to the second. Oaks still lead 2-0. Top of the second inning here. It is DJ Contreras once again to begin this second. He gets a first pitch pop up to the right side. Austin Carrillo comes in to make the catch, and retired Dylan Lena, who has been one of the best hitters for the Barons this summer. We've seen his numbers drop a bit since the last time these two teams met. Still a very dangerous hitter, and it's a big first out for Contreras.
Well, I mean, if you're DJ Contreras, you definitely can't complain. And Kamaya Neighbors, the best hitter on this Barons roster, one of the best hitters in CCL, flies out on the first pitch he sees, and then Lena flies out on the first pitch he sees.
It's in there for a strike. To Deshaun Lanier. Lanier is the center fielder today for the Barons. He hits one to the right side and past Nick Leahy into right field for a single. It's a good piece of hitting from Deshaun Lanier to go the opposite field for a knock. That'll bring up Jacob Klinowski. He's in right field today for the Barons. Hitting .260 this summer with his OPS just below 700. Has one home run. He takes the first pitch upstairs from Contreras. This will probably be the last inning for DJ unless he has another single-digit inning as far as the pitch count goes.
Well, we didn't think that Cody Carson would go as far into the ball game as he did yesterday, as Eli Paton's able to make the catch in foul territory. Cody put out a pretty heroic performance yesterday, considering that there wasn't very many arms available, going 5 innings and throwing, what, 90 some pitches?
Yeah, 95.
Yeah, so DJ just trying to replicate that today.
And Jackson Jordan has begun to walk down to the bullpen. Contreras only at 14 pitches with 2 outs in the second inning. It was a 9-pitch first for him. He's up against the large first baseman for the Barons, Maximus Berber, who drives one down the left field line, and it off the foul pole and gone. Maximus Berber cuts through the wind and drills one off the foul pole and left. What we talked about yesterday in Santa Barbara, how there's no foul pole, wasn't sure what would happen on a fly ball down the left field line, but here at Sparky Anderson Field, as there are at most ballparks, regular foul pole, and Berber hits it right off of it.
It's a good swing from Berber there. Just really got his hands in and pulled it down the line with authority. You can hear I was looking for the ball. Couldn't find it, but I heard it go off the foul pole.
And for Berber, his first home run, just his 5th hit this summer, as he's actually listed as a pitcher.
He has pitched against us, Josh, too.
Now 5 for 24 at the plate is Berber. But he's thrown 23 innings on the mound.
Honestly think all 5 of those hits were against us, too.
It makes it a brand new ball game. The Oaks had that 2-0 lead. And just a runner on first with 2 outs in this second inning. Contreras cruising. But Maximus Berber turns one around and turns the tide in this one. It's now 2-2.
Oh, yeah.
Contreras comes back and gets a strikeout of Max Diaz to end the second. But not before the Barons score a couple to even up this ball game at 2. As we head to the bottom of the second, tie score. Chris Wright leads off the bottom of the second for the Oaks. We were just talking in between innings about the Maximus Berber home run, and Austin let us know that when we were down in Compton a couple weeks ago, Berber had a 3-hit day. So that means at least 4 of his 5 hits this summer have come against the Oaks. likes hitting against these colors. 1-1 the count to Chris Wright. Still Marcellus Henry out there. Nobody up in the Barons bullpen. Jackson Jordan has been throwing in the Oaks bullpen. Counts even at 1 on Wright. Takes pitch off the plate. Wright's getting his first start at first base in quite some time. He's been primarily the starting right fielder for the Oaks this summer, but with all the injuries and players leaving, the Oaks need Wright to step up at first today. He's in a hitter's count 3-1. Wright will look for something to drive. Takes one at the top of the zone for a strike. Some more chirping coming from the Oaks dugout.
Yeah, the umpire is really going to hear it from both dugouts if he doesn't tighten up the strike zone. He's been giving the low strike call and now the high one. Can't do both.
Now Chris looking to win this count as he does just that. Working a walk and getting the Oaks another leadoff base runner.
If he would have rung up right, that would have been really interesting to see if everyone would have kept their cool there, because then that would have been the high, the low, and the outside.
Good take by Chris Wright, knowing the strike zone. And see if the Oaks can do what they did in the first, take advantage of that leadoff base runner. After Moyer had his bunt single, he came around to score on the sac fly from Durfee. Brady Francisco up there now looking to start a rally after the Wright leadoff walk. Francisco in left field today. He's been swinging the bat well the past few games. Had a 3-hit day on Friday. Picked up a knock in yesterday's contest as well. Up to 11 hits on the summer for Brady. He's been getting a lot more playing time as of late, with the roster dissipating the way it has. Francisco's been in the lineup just about every day. Usually it's behind the plate, but today they need him in left field. He's in a hitter's count 2-0 against Henry. 3-0. And that's going to cause some stirring in that Barons bullpen. And they're telling the pitcher who just began to throw to speed it up down there. With that, Alex Laureano goes out to the mound to stall a bit, and they've got multiple guys telling the reliever to speed up his warm-ups down there.
It looks like that's the southpaw Jimmy Welsher, and he's really had success here at this field pitching. He was, when he's gone multiple 3 to 4 inning outings and really shut down the Oaks lineup, doesn't seem to be able to do that against anyone else, but just has our number.
Him and
he's got that slow breaking ball.
Yes.
Him and Burba seem to really just enjoy playing against the Oaks, I guess.
Francisco in a 3-1 hitter's count. He walks. Back-to-back walks to begin the second inning. And the day is probably nearing a close for Marcellus Henry. First and second, nobody out for Zach Schwartzberg, who we know is a very unselfish player, good bunter. So we'll see if that's what the Oaks have him do in this situation. An obvious bunt situation with first and second, nobody out. Also got the top of the lineup right behind him. But Schwartzberg very good with the bat as well. He could be swinging away, and he doesn't even need a sacrifice. Both runners are able to advance on a wild pitch. Could be ruled as a pass ball. Either way, second and third, nobody out for the Oaks. Schwartzberg won't have to sacrifice now. He's going to be swinging away, looking to drive in a run. The Barons keep their middle infield back with nobody out here. A lot of different ways that Schwartzberg can get this run in from third. There's a fastball painted on the outer half. 1-0 the count. The radar gun is now on the scoreboard here. Henry's still sitting at 85 with that heater. Outfield remains shallow, especially in left. We know that Schwartzberg's got some pop as well. And he chops one softly to third base. They're going to come home with it, and Wright is tagged out. Just about the only place on the infield that the ball couldn't go to. And Thomas Williams stays calm and makes a nice throw home to get Wright, which is going to end the day for Marcellus Henry. Head coach Kenny Landreau comes out to make the change, and Jimmy Welsher begins his jog in from the bullpen. He's going to look to keep the Oaks off the board here, who have runners at the corners and 1 out. We'll be right back for the rest of the second inning. For Jimmy Welsher this summer, he's certainly given the Oaks fits. Against the rest of the CCL, he's pitched 16 innings, allowed 23 earned runs. But against the Oaks, 7 innings, just 1 earned run, Sammy?
I believe so.
Could be Welsher for the long haul. He's thrown 23 innings in 11 appearances, so I guess won't be pitching more than 2 or 3. The Oaks are looking to take advantage of a first and third 1-out situation with the top of their lineup. Mac Moyer swings at a first pitch, looping 66-mile-an-hour curveball that he fouls back.
This being the third time that the Oaks are facing Welsher, you gotta wonder if guys know what he's all about and are just gonna either sit back or step up in the box and try to really attack that curveball before it breaks too much.
That time Welsher goes with a fastball at 77. That's fouled back. Even though he doesn't throw the hardest, Welsher, at least against the Oaks, does a nice job of mixing up his pitches. And he's got Moyer in an 0-2 hole. There goes Schwartzberg. He picks over, and Schwartzberg's going to be tagged out. The Oaks are running themselves out of this inning. They had a player thrown out at home, and now Schwartzberg gets picked off. Barons are gifted 2 outs this inning, and now it's just Francisco standing on third with 2 away, and Moyer needing a hit to drive him in. And he gets jammed, hits one right back to Welsher, who lobs it over to first, and he's able to get out of the jam.
Houdini.
It's a magic act by Jimmy Welsher, who's pumped up going back to that Barons dugout. He's hearing it from his teammates as well. We headed the third, 2-2 the score. Top of the third inning, Jackson Jordan in there, the earliest we've seen him by a long shot this summer. 2-2 ball game in the third. And we were wondering if Big Red would be available for multiple innings today, but Colby Downard is already up behind Jackson.
Colby Downard, more of a long relief pitcher for the Oaks. Downard usually goes multiple innings in his outings.
Yeah, Sammy, he does, and he just threw multiple innings on Friday. 1 day off for Colby.
Well, Josh, like we said, there's only 2 guys that are for sure unavailable today.
Yep. It's a 1-1 count to Alex Laureano, the catcher, who takes one just off. 2-1.
When you got a roster like the Oaks do right now, it's really all hands on deck.
The goal is just get into the playoffs at this point, and the Oaks can make a run. Saw that last summer, although it was different circumstances, as the Oaks were the 1 seed in the South Division heading into the playoffs.
1 seed overall.
And we saw that run end in the championship. Just got to get a chance. 3-1 pitch is chased by Laureano. Count runs full.
And obviously Josh, playoffs this year, definitely a little bit of a different story. Last year we know it was just do or die for pretty much every single game, but there was that thought of double elimination in the back of the mind. This time it's do or die every single game except for the championship series for the most part.
Jackson Jordan strikes out the first batter that he faces after falling behind in the count 3-1. That's what we see a lot from Jordan, big strikeout guy. It's his 10th of the summer in 10 innings. This will be the 10th appearance for Jordan. Has only gone more than one inning just one time. 2-0 with 3 saves. Definitely been the highest leverage reliever for the Oaks. He's facing the top of the Barons lineup now as it flips to Anthony Bassett, the leadoff man, who grounded out to second to start off the game. And when Jordan's throwing strikes, he's very difficult to hit. Sit around 90 with the fastball, but he's got that ridiculous slider that he likes to show and throws it right there for a called strike. That pitch starting in the right-hander's batter's box and then ending in the middle of the plate. Bassett looking to fight in this 1-2 count. Pitch is fouled back. This summer for Bassett, he's struggled a bit, hitting just over 200. Takes a back foot slider that was almost a literal back foot pitch that he jumps out of the way of. 222 batting average with a 380 on base for Bassett. So even though he struggled a bit with the hits, he's been able to get on base, drawing his fair share of walks. Jordan looking to sit him down on this 2-2 pitch. It's outside. Count is now full, 3-2. Jordan looking to avoid walking the leadoff hitter for the Barons. That one's fouled back. It was a good location from Jordan, looking for a strikeout with a high fastball. Bassett was able to get a piece of it to stay alive. Jordan taking a long time to get his sign. Does so and comes set. It goes with a slider. Just filthy to get Bassett for his second straight strikeout.
3-2 strikeouts to open up the outing for Jackson, and it's good seeing the strikeouts, but the amount of pitches that he's throwing will lead you to believe that he won't be coming out for a second inning of work.
6-pitch at bat from Laureano, followed by an 8-pitch at bat from Bassett, has Jordan at 14 pitches through these 2 outs. Brings up Thomas Williams. Williams made a nice play in the second inning, getting a chopper at third base and gunning down Chris Wright at the plate. It was a pretty routine play, but nothing's easy when you're trying to get an out at the plate. Williams was able to stay composed to make an accurate throw. Counts even at 1 to Williams. Hitting .277 this summer. An OPS right around 700. And he rolls that one weakly to the right side. Off Nick Leahy, who stays composed, picks it up, and can't get Williams in time.
Ooh.
Not a particularly hard hit baseball, but it ate up Leahy, and Williams was able to beat it.
Not entirely sure he did, Josh.
I agree. I didn't think he did as well. New life given to the Barons in this third. 2-out error by Leahy allows Williams to reach and allows Kamayu Neighbors to come up, who almost gets hit by this fastball from Jordan. Neighbors flew out to left to end the first. The second baseman today for the Barons. Neighbors leads the team in at-bats and plate appearances. Any way you slice it, Neighbors is incredible numbers across the board. 370 average, 500 on base with a 477 slug. Good for an OPS, almost 1,000. Jordan just misses the outside corner. 2-1 to Neighbors. Small lead for Williams. Jordan comes home with the slider. Now 3-1 count. Neighbors is very okay with taking a walk, leads the team with over 20 walks this summer. But he goes after the 3-1 pitch and lofts it foul down the left field line. The third full count of the inning in 4 batters against Jordan. Barons are certainly making him work this inning.
Jackson's got to make a really good pitch here, as Neighbors is the toughest guy you'll find a strikeout in the CCL. Only 9 strikeouts in 142 plate appearances.
And he hits one weakly over to the right side. Chris Wright makes the play, knows he has to hustle to get Neighbors. Bit of a strong tag.
An emphatic tag call, too. Everyone saw it happen. The umpire screams, tag, tag.
Thanks for letting us know, Blue. As we head to the bottom of the third, still 2-2 game. Austin Carrillo leads off the bottom of the third inning against Jimmy Welsher, who's back out there. He came in to finish the second and did a masterful job getting out of a first and third jam as Carrillo hits one in the air to right center field, and it's carrying and it gets into the gap. Goes towards the wall, and Carrillo cruises into second for a leadoff double.
Really good piece of hitting right there out of Austin Carrillo. Just absolutely doing what we said that the Oaks needed to do. Step up in the box and be sitting on that curveball and absolutely hammering it.
Now the Oaks have a runner in scoring position with nobody out, just like they did in the first. They were able to take advantage in the first with a Brendan Durfee sac fly and then a Drew Smith RBI ground out. Leahy walked in that first inning with first and second. Now he'll look to swing away and get Carrillo over to third. At worst, get Carrillo over to third. Best case for Leahy, of course, is an RBI knock here. looking to stay hot at the plate. That one's way upstairs, causing Lorion to jump. It's 1-1 to Leahy. Welsher has given up quite a bit of damage this summer, 39 hits in 23 innings. Carrillo getting the first hit off Welsh today after he entered. Got a pickoff and then a comebacker. Leahy drives that one to the gap in left center. That's going to score Carrillo. Leahy will head into second. And it's back-to-back doubles to begin this third for the Oaks. And Leahy falls down at second base. And
oh, no.
Oh, no. Leahy rolling over, and Coach Solis hustling out there.
Grabbing his knee. That's,
left knee,
that's
right?
a terrible sign. Oh, no.
Training staff and Yoshi hustles out there.
We'll step away right now.
After a long check on Nick Leahy, he does in fact stay in the ball game. We saw Nate Clough, a relief pitcher for the Oaks, have his helmet on, ready to potentially pinch run, and he actually heads over to Coach Solis right now. They're having a little brief conversation. We've mentioned in the past few days that Clough has been taking batting practice and getting ready just in case the Oaks need him. Obviously, they hope Leahy is okay enough to finish the game, but today could be the day that Clough gets an appearance.
Yeah, Joshua, we know that Clough is technically a two-way player. He got a couple ABs this spring with the Trojans at SC, but they've yet to use him, but obviously could definitely become a possibility. Not sure, we haven't gotten confirmation yet, but Carson Falskin and Max Holladay both haven't been here the last 2 days, so I don't know if that means their summer is done. But I was looking at the roster just in between innings, and if they are, the roster is down to 24 as of right now.
It's a 1-1 count to Durfee. We should mention also that Leahy double jumped off the bat at 100 miles an hour. Got that information courtesy of our TrackMan friend. What's your name?
Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Finally got a name.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go, Josh.
So we'll be referring to Alex. We have any more questions as far as exit velocities or pitching velocities go. As Durfee pops that one up on the infield. Durfee throws his bat down in frustration as Anthony Bassett makes the catch at shortstop. Frustration for Durfee as he's unable to advance Leahy over to third. Still just the one out. Drew Smith coming up. Smith has primarily been playing at third, getting some time at second and short as well, but today he's the designated hitter. He takes a ball inside. Smith had an RBI fielder's choice back in the first. That gave him their second run of the game. And he hits that one to Williams at third, who shuffles his feet a couple times and gets Smith at first for out number 2. Welsher gets back-to-back weak outs after back-to-back doubles. And now Nick Leahy is gonna end his day. That is very unfortunate to see for Leahy. Leahy walks gingerly back to the Oaks dugout as Nate Clough enters as a pinch runner. It's Nate pinch running. The entire Oaks roster talking to Leahy before he goes back with Yosh to get his knee looked at. So it's Nate Clough wearing Cole Fisher's number. That's what the discussion that we were having in between during that brief time that Leahy was down. We saw someone wearing 17 that wasn't Cole Fisher, but after paying closer attention, Austin let me know that it was Nate Clough, which the home plate umpire just confirmed as well. Sure, that's got to be fun for Clough. Not something he expected coming into this summer. We'll see if he stays in the game defensively. Leahy was playing second.
Wouldn't surprise me. Close taking fungos, tossing them over to me today during BP. Seemed comfortable over there at second. There wasn't a single traditional second baseman who took fungos today at second. It was Clough, Ryan, and Cody Carson. Nothing like throwing 95 pitches yesterday and then taking grounders today.
One misses outside to Eli Paton. He grounded out to second to end the first inning. See how much longer the Barons throw Welsher out there. Needed just 6 pitches to finish that second. And even with a couple of hits in this inning, has not thrown a lot of pitches. As Peyton check swings that one, foul. That pitch from Welsher was only his 11th of this third, even though there's been 2 doubles and a run coming across. Eli looking to stay alive in a 1-2 count. He takes a breaking ball off the plate. 2-1, 2-2. Peyton looking to drive in a run with 2 outs. Even missing a few weeks due to injury. Peyton's in double-digit mark for RBIs. He pops that one up to shallow center field. Bassett retreats, and the shortstop makes the catch to end the third. Well, there's a bit of a casualty for the Oaks as Nick Leahy went down due to injury. And it does look like Jackson Jordan will head out for his second inning of work to begin the fourth as we head to the middle third of this ball game. 3-2 Oaks. Jackson Jordan is indeed out there to begin this 4th inning. Colby Downard heads back to the bullpen.
We also sent sideline reporter Koji to go check with his dad on the status of Nick Leahy.
Birthday boy, Coach.
Didn't invite us to his birthday party, though.
Dylan Lena up there now. Very powerful bat in this Barons lineup, who popped out to shallow right in his only at-bat today. Lena sitting over 320 this summer, and his slugging percentage is the best on the Barons at 490. Was a lot higher. Must be in a bit of a slump. He hit a home run against the Oaks here at Sparky Anderson Field. The 2-1 count to Lena, who lines this one into left center field. Francisco can't get there. Takes a weird hop. Brady keeps it in front of him. It's a leadoff single for Dylan Lena. Something Jackson Jordan doesn't do a lot, and that's give up hits. Coming in today, just 5 hits in 10 innings out of relief. That's now 6 and 11. As he didn't give up a hit in the 3rd. The only base runner was the error. First pitch to Delshawn Lanier is on the outside corner for a strike. Jordan was not particularly efficient in that 3rd inning, needing to throw 23 pitches. This one shot into left field. Back-to-back singles to begin this 4th. 23 pitches for Jordan in the 3rd. And now back-to-back base runners to begin the 4th.
We know for Big Red, he's really not a pitcher who can throw a lot of pitches very easily, as we know last summer dealt with some issues with his elbow, which kept him out for, I want to say, about 2 weeks. I think completely shut him down for about 2 weeks. But here he is out for a 2nd inning of work, and he claims he could throw 5 innings today, but I highly doubt he could ever do that.
As that one's lined back into center field, another hit. Lena's going to stay put at 3rd. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. A lot or a little? A lot? You want to go down? Sorry, we were dealing with a bit of a situation up here. We do have Koji up here, and he has a bit of a bloody lip. So we're just taking care of him. Austin's going to make sure he's okay. Bases are loaded with nobody out for the Barons. And this isn't the hitter that you want to see. The guy who already has a home run in today's ballgame, Maximus Berber. Up there with the bases loaded and nobody out. 3-2 the Oaks lead. But that lead could be going away any pitch now. Some high heat from Jordan gets Berber to swing and miss. 0-2 the count, with Jordan looking for a big strikeout in this situation. There's a slider that Berber is able to watch break off the plate. And with nobody out and the bases juiced, the Oaks will be happy with just 1 run coming in. They'll look to limit the damage as much as possible. Downard continues to throw as Jordan comes home, and Berber goes around. Chases the slider in the dirt. And that's a massive strikeout for Jackson Jordan. With that strikeout, that now means Jordan is one pitch away from an inning-ending double play and getting the Oaks back in the dugout. It's Max Diaz up there now. Diaz already a strikeout victim in this one. That one gets in on his hands and he swings and misses. Diaz leads the team in strikeouts. That one that he had in the second was his 29th of the summer. With a base hit here, though, Diaz could give the Barons the lead. I think that's the first time today we've seen Jordan hit 91 on the gun. The count is even up at 1 on Diaz. Jordan looking for a ground ball here. He'll keep the ball down in the zone. He loses control of that breaking ball, and it hits Diaz to allow the tying run to come into score. It's got to be frustrating for a pitcher. Obviously, they hate hitting guys no matter what, but to hit a guy which allows a run to come in, not ideal. Bases are still loaded. Now there's one out. He's gone. And it's Alex Laureano, the 9-hitter and catcher up there for the Barons. And he shoots that one right back up the middle for a hit. Barons take the lead. Station to station they go. It's a 4-3 ball game now. Could be the end of the day for Jordan. We know that Coach Solis and the Oaks aren't big fans of pulling pitchers mid-inning. So it certainly looks like the Oaks are hoping that Jordan can get through this fourth. But that's now 4 hits and an HBP this inning. Still just the 1 out, bases loaded, line drive, double play. The Oaks catch a break as that one's hit sharply right to Schwartzberg, who flips it to Klo for out number 3. With all things considered, Jackson Jordan and the Oaks probably relatively happy with just 2 coming across and finding themselves trailing by just 1. A lot of ball game left as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Barons now lead 4-3. Tripod? Yeah. What did you say? Yeah, you want your tripod too?
Yeah, my tripod. Bag it up. Yeah.
Chris Wright leads off the bottom of the 4th inning for the Oaks, who trail for the first time today. 4-3 is the score. The Oaks began the game with a 2-0 lead, which was erased quickly in the top of the 2nd after Maximus Berber hit a 2-run homer. The Oaks then took the lead 3-2 in the bottom of the 3rd before the Barons came back with 2 of their own once again in the top of the 4th to give themselves a 4-3 lead. Could have been more, but a line drive ended up in the glove of Zach Schwartzberg, who flipped to second for double play. Oaks have a lot of ball game left, and they trail by just 1. Bottom 3rd of the lineup right now. Still Jimmy Welsher out there for the Barons, but they do have action in the bullpen. A lot of guys throwing.
Yeah, there's like 6 guys thrown around in the bullpen for the Barons.
Wright drives one down the right field line. Foul. Looks like it had home run distance, but it was well foul. It's going to cause Neighbors and Laureano to go out there. It's interesting. Could be a situation where maybe they think someone in the Oaks has picked up the signs, because there's no other reason I can think of that there would be a mound visit right now between these 3. Mid at bat to lead off an inning. Have to imagine that it's sign related or something. Counts even up at 2 on Chris Wright, who takes a looping breaking ball in the dirt. 3-2. Brady Francisco waits on deck. Wright looking to get on for the 2nd time today. Payoff pitch. It's in on the hands of Wright. He pops it up to short. Bassett makes the catch for out number 1. For a guy in Jimmy Welsher who doesn't throw particularly hard, topping out at 77, he sure does get a lot of jam shots.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, we've obviously seen Welsher a couple times this summer, and for whatever reason, this Oaks lineup has just struggled to be able to try and time things up against Welsher with how slow he is velo-wise comparison to other pitchers in CCL.
Welsher's done a really nice job of mixing up his pitches.
Welsher very similarly has success like Nestor Cortez does with the Yankees. Doesn't throw hard, just throws strikes.
Francisco takes a changeup from Welsher. He hasn't shown that very often. Not that much of a velocity difference from his fastball to his changeup. There might have even been a fastball. It's just 5 miles an hour slower than what he's been throwing. It looked like it had some movement, though. That's a fastball, and it's in there for a strike. 1-2. Francisco looking to get on for the 2nd time today. He walked back in the 2nd. And he hits that one softly in the air to left field. Right to Max Diaz, who makes the catch. Couple of pop-outs for the Oaks to begin the 2nd. And that'll bring up Zach Schwartzberg with nobody on and 2 out. Schwartzberg was the one who hit into that fielder's choice when the Oaks had 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Chopper over to Williams at 3rd, who was able to nab Chris Wright at the plate. This time Schwartzberg bunts and it'll go foul.
Some wicked backspin on that bunt. Schwartzberg is he had to jump out of the way to make sure it didn't hit him in fair territory.
We've been seeing that more from the Oaks, trying to pick up those bunt singles. third baseman Williams is about even with the bag. Was a little behind, but he's crept up a bit. And Schwartzberg hits it to Williams, who's able to range over, make a throw on the run across his body to retire Schwartzberg and give the Barons their first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. Still 4-3 the score as we head to the fifth. Colby Downard is out there to begin this fifth inning. The Oaks are going to look for some length out of Downard. He's pitched multiple innings in just about every appearance. We've seen him pick up a 3-inning save as well. It'll be a minimum 2 innings, I'm assuming, from Downard, and they'll go from there. This summer for Colby, ERA a little over 4, but 26 strikeouts and 20 in the third innings. And that strikeout total is good for second on the team, only behind Cole Fisher. Been a lot of base runners against Downard, who's going to look to get ahead of hitters. The Oaks need some length from him. One the count to Thomas Williams.
We're just getting an update on Cameron Deck and his business ordeals out in Nashville.
This one's flown out to left center field. Francisco and Moyer both drifting over. Moyer calls off Francisco to make the catch for out number 1.
That was a bit of a scary play right there, as Francisco looked like he was about to run into Moyer, and with Nick Leahy already leaving this game due to injury, last thing the Oaks can afford is a collision in the outfield like that. But that's a good job of Mac Moyer to communicate with his left fielder, let him know to get out of his way.
Moyer, of course, with more experience out there. Not only is he a natural outfielder with Francisco being a catcher, but also he's got that experience as far as age goes. Francisco just entering college beginning in the fall. Moyer already been at Oregon for a couple of years. Back-to-back switch hitters in the 2-3 spots in the lineup for the Barons. Both Thomas Williams and Kumail Neighbors flip over to the right side to face Downard. From the left side today, Neighbors is 0 for 2 with a fly out and a ground out. Downard falls behind in the count 2-0 against Neighbors. Neighbors goes after this one, rolls it over to Schwartzberg, who has to get rid of it with the speed of Neighbors. Makes the routine play for out number 2.
And Josh will have to see if Downard is going to pitch multiple innings, because Sky Rudensky has already begun warming up down there in the bullpen for the Oaks.
We also talked about it with Downard. Even though he has gone multiple innings in just about every appearance, he just pitched on Friday. So with only a day off in between appearances, the Oaks might want to limit his usage. He's gotten 2 outs on 6 pitches to begin this 5th, and he gets a generous strike call against Dylan Lena. Lena started the rally last inning for the Barons with a single to left before coming around to score. The first of 2 runs that came in for the Barons in the 4th. Lena has a 950 OPS. 320 average coming into play today. There's a breaking ball from Downard that he doesn't get a strike call on. The first non-fastball today from Colby. This one's chopped weakly back to the pitcher. Downard fields his position, fires a strike to Chris Wright. It's a 1-2-3 5th for Colby Downard. He potentially bought himself another inning of work. So we're halfway home in this one with the Barons leading 4-3. Bottom of the 5th inning here. And there's still a Jimmy Welsher on the mound for the Barons. Entering his 3rd inning starting on the mound, but he got 2 outs to end the 2nd. So up to this point, he's already pitched 2 2/3 out of the bullpen. It's been very effective, giving up 1 run. Moyer lifts that one out to center field, right to Deshaun Lanier. The first out of this 5th inning. Brings up Austin Carrillo. He's had a productive day at the plate already. Been on twice, scored 2 runs. He walked and was hit by a pitch in the first. Sorry, he doubled and was hit by a pitch in the first. Doubled to right center before coming around to score in the third. Carrillo watches one miss up and out of the zone. There is someone throwing in the Barons bullpen. Presumably the first sign of trouble for Welsher. He'll be done, given his workload in this one already. As Carrillo hits another one out to right center field. That's one that's going to shoot the gap again. Lanier cuts it off, but can't field it cleanly. And it's the second double of the ball game for Austin Carrillo. Very similar to his double in the third, hitting the right center field gap. This one was a bit more towards center field, but Lanier, even with his range, can't get there. And now, the first at-bat of the summer for Nate Clough.
Left-handed hitter.
Yeah, interesting.
I love that.
Clough, of course, pitches with his right hand, so very surprised to see this. And he takes the first pitch strike from Welsher. This has got to be so much fun for Clough.
A lot of fun for his teammates, too. A lot of them are really locked into this. The pitchers especially.
Clough hits the one on the ground, foul. When Clough gets back to school, hopefully he was able, or at least Christina was able to nab a couple pics of him in the batter's box, show his fellow pitchers at USC. See what Clough's two strike approaches as he falls in 0-2 count. An inside move to second. Carrillo is easily able to read.
An update in Santa Barbara. The Blues are currently ahead of the Foresters, 1-0, heading into the bottom of the second.
The 0-2 to Clough. He's in the dirt, and it gets past Laureano. Might go down as a passed ball. Ball did not hit the dirt as it scooted underneath the glove of Laureano.
Yeah, that one looked like a pass ball to me.
The Barons are going to bring the infield in. Nate Clough a chance to drive in a run right now. He's got to get the ball to the outfield to do so.
He can muscle one in on his hands over the head of the infielders. That'll work just as well.
And there's a pop-up on the infield. Right around the pitcher's mound. Bassett makes the catch on the mound. That's a big out number 2. Clough is going to be frustrated that he couldn't drive in a run there, but it's hard to blame someone who is a pitcher and has not hit at all this summer. It's going to be a mound visit now from the pitching coach of the Barons. Maybe wanting to discuss some strategy. Of course, Brendan Durfee, one of the best hitters for the Oaks. But Welsher has a favorable lefty-lefty matchup, so that could just be what the conversation is, whether or not they want to pitch to Durfee.
It looks like the infield is going to shift over as well. Playing Durfee to pull, the shortstop.
Bassett.
Bassett is shaded up a little more to the left of a traditional double play dip. Neighbors really in the hole at second base.
And that's the hardest pitch we've seen Jimmy Welsher throw.
I got the report on Leahy, fellas. Just rolled ankle. Saw Coach Solis down there when I was going to use the bathroom. Just asked him why we're waiting in line.
As Durfee drives that one out to right center field. Stays in the park in front of the warning track. It'll be caught out there by Klinowski. The Oaks strand a runner at second base. And it is just the one inning for Colby Downer as Scott Radinsky enters to begin the 6th. 4-3 is the score. Scott Radinsky in there to be in this 6th inning. And before we start the 6th, we'll just give you an update that we got from Santa Barbara, where the Foresters have evened up the score at 1 on the Blues.
They are also still hitting in the bottom of the 2nd, and we'll let you know. What else happens in the rest of the 2nd inning.
It's tied at 1.
And looks like the Foresters just took the lead back. Well, not back, for the first time.
Radinsky throws a breaking ball to Delshawn Lanier. Get him to swing over the top of it. For Scott, it's the 2nd time in 3 days we've seen him. Had the day off yesterday, but pitched out of relief on Friday. Throwing a scoreless inning. He's 10 strikeouts and 9 1/3 out of relief. Radinsky's gotten some unlucky defense behind him as he gets a 3-pitch strikeout to begin his ball game today. Perfect start to the outing for Radinsky. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Lanier heads back to the dugout.
Now batting number 19, Troy Mechanick.
The Oaks are going to look to piece together the rest of this ball game for the bullpen inning by inning. Sammy mentioned just about everyone that's here for the Oaks is going to be available except for Cody Carson and Charlie Adamson after they emptied the tank yesterday.
Including you, Josh. You might have to step out of the booth and go down there and get on the mound.
Ready. Radinsky looking to keep it in the strike zone. Long hold before he comes home. Just below the zone. First ball that Scott has thrown today. And if the Oaks aren't able to get the help that they're looking for from the Foresters, and this score holds, the Oaks would be out of a playoff spot. But right now, the Foresters are doing their part for the Oaks. They lead 2-1. Of course, ideally, if you're the Oaks, you want to get in on your own merit, picking up a win in this contest. That one's in their first strike, 2-2 to the pinch hitter, Troy McCain. Couple of changes that the Barons have made. McCain for Klinowski now. And in the on-deck circle, it's Andrew Ramirez instead of Maximus Berber.
And Berber moves over to first base coach. Looks like a natural up there, I must say.
(3-2) the count to Troy McCain, who lifts one down the right field line, heading towards foul territory. Goes into the Barons bullpen. Cole Fisher comes out of the dugout to hand the umpire some baseballs without a jersey on, as Nate Clough is wearing Fish's jersey today.
One more comes across for the Foresters in the bottom of the second. 3-1 now.
It's 3-2 the count to Troy McCain. Another payoff pitch from Radinsky. It's fouled away once again. McCain really making Radinsky work in this at-bat. He's got the count full and has fouled off a couple pitches. Already seen 7 up to this point. Radinsky looking to put him away. McCain holds up on that breaking ball, and it's a 1-out walk. Radinsky had gone to the fastball back-to-back pitches on the 3-2 count. Both were fouled away. So on this delivery, he goes with the slider and doesn't get the chase, as McCain was able to hold up. Brings up Andrew Ramirez. We mentioned he replaced Maximus Berber, who homered and struck out today. Now doing the first base coaching duties. One of the few times that we actually see a first base coach standing in the coach's box. This summer for Ramirez has not gotten as much playing time as some of the other guys and has struggled with the time he's got. But he rips a single into left field, and it gets past Francisco, who bobbles it. Moyer comes to back it up, but McCain comes all the way around to score from first after the bobble in left field by Brady Francisco. Unfortunate break there for Radinsky. It looked like he gave a weakly hit single to left, but it kicks up on Brady Francisco, and another run comes across for the Barons, who now lead 5-3. And it's another pinch hitter for the Barons. Instead of Max Diaz, that is someone I do not see on the roster. Number 41. Cool. Justin Baldwin, probably. Could be Justin Baldwin. It is Justin Baldwin. Listed as number 4 on the roster. We're in 41 today. Baldwin's been pretty productive this summer. A 250 average with a 387 clip.
Bless you.
The only problem, if you want to call it a problem, for Baldwin, no pop in there. All 15 of his hits have been singles. So a 250 average with an even 250 slugging percentage. And he hits that one to left field. Francisco backs up just a step to make the catch. Ramirez stays put at second, and that's the second out of this 6th inning.
Bottom of the second comes to an end in Santa Barbara, and the Foresters are out in front 4-1 over the Blues.
Very good sign for the Oaks. Mike Stanford has now begun to toss in the bullpen for the Oaks. Laureano today is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Rinsky looking to get out of this with just the 1 run coming across. It's in there for a strike to Laureano. The 1 run that's come across this inning will be unearned. Should Radinsky retire Laureano. Laureano has split the catching duties this summer with Alonso Zuniga, but for the final game, Laureano gets the duties behind the plate. Then 279. OPS slightly over 700. That one's in there for a strike. 1-2. Radinsky looking for his 2nd strikeout of the inning. And what's likely to be his only inning of relief today. That one's chopped softly over to Schwartzberg. It's going to be a tough play. He gets rid of it in time to get Laureano, who runs pretty well for a catcher. The Barons plate 1 unearned run due to a mishap in left field, and they extend their lead to 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Jimmy Welsher's day is finally done. And with how he's pitched against the Oaks this summer, including today, I'm sure the Oaks are happy about that.
Shambolic music down there right now, playing both Drew Smith's walk-up music and the music that was playing in between innings. Did not sound good, Josh.
The new pitcher for the Barons is right-hander Calix Armijo. He throws a first pitch breaking ball in there for a strike this summer. This will be his 12th appearance, which is second on the team. He's given up a bit of damage, 17 runs in 15 innings. Has struck out 13, though. Counts even up at 1 on Smith. A lot of these relievers coming in for the Barons have struggled mightily this summer. So the Oaks are going to look to take advantage of that. They're chasing 2 in this one. 5-3 is the score. Up in Santa Barbara, it's a 4-1 Foresters lead. So even if the Oaks lose this game, if that score holds, they will get that final playoff spot. But a lot of game left in both places. Just the 3rd inning in Santa Barbara, 6th inning here. And Drew Smith leads off the bottom of the 6th with a walk.
Exactly what the Oaks need right now to try and get a couple runs this inning to try to turn this game on its head.
The Oaks started off the game very well offensively. Getting the first 3 batters on, scoring 2 in the first. Then they ran themselves out of a big inning in the second. Scored 1 in the third as that pitch goes behind Paton. And then it's been a quiet 4th and 5th inning, 1, 2, 3, 4th. And then other than a Carrillo 1-out double in the 5th, they went down in order. They have a runner in scoring position now with nobody out. Very good chance to cut into this lead right now. Powerful bat of Eli Paton is up there. And he's in the hitter's count 2-0 against Armijo.
Both pitches from Armijo this at-bat have missed badly.
First pitch was behind Paton, and then Armijo tried to correct himself and missed way outside. Eli swings over the top of that changeup. It's now 2-1. Eli looking to drive in Smith, but even a rollover to the right side. A productive out. Just getting Smith over to third, who gets a massive jump, and he steals third base easily.
We've seen Drew Smith do that quite often this summer. Just get an absolutely massive jump and steal pitches on the pitcher.
Smith is a very smart base runner. Finds himself just 90 feet away with nobody out. Paton in a 3-1 count. Fouls it back. Now in a 2-strike count. Eli's going to just look to put the ball in play. Barron's keeping the middle infield back. Just about any ground ball will score a run. Here comes a 3-2 from Armijo. Paton rolls it foul. And with it still being just the 6th inning, the Oaks will be more than happy with scoring only 1 run, but after getting a leadoff base runner, they'll look to try to get a couple. Smith at third, Paton in the box. 3-2 is the count. He takes a changeup. Disciplined at bat from Eli Paton there. Oftentimes, hitters want to be the guy who does the job and drives in that run. Paton finding himself in a hitter's count 3-1, fouls it back, and then goes to work with 2 strikes. And it was a changeup that looked like it was a strike for a majority of the way towards the plate. But Paton was able to spit on it. Get the Oaks runners at the corners with nobody out. Chris Wright up there with the chance to tie, potentially give the Oaks the lead. Another wild miss from Armijo. That's going to prompt a mound visit. Jimmy Welcher was so efficient and was able to provide some nice length for the Barons. But since entering, Armijo has walked both hitters that he's faced and now falls behind against Chris Wright.
And we've seen that. We've seen this script a couple of times when the Barons have played the Oaks here. The Oaks get out to an early lead. Welcher comes in, shuts the door for a while. The Barons take the lead, and then once Welcher leaves the game, the Oaks take back control of the ball game.
Well, they'd certainly love to do that here with massive playoff implications on the line. And the tying run over there on first base and Eli Paton. Chris Wright, the go-ahead run at the plate.
Wright, the team leader in home runs as well, we have to mention.
Left the yard 3 times this summer, including a grand slam here. He takes a first pitch breaking ball from Armijo. Second pitch, actually. It was the first pitch since the mound visit. 2-0 now the count to Chris. He's driven in 16 this summer, which is tied with Zach Dode for second on the Oaks. Number 17 is waiting out there on third base, and Drew Smith. Right in a hitter's count. Very aggressive hitter. He goes after it, fouls it away. Sure, Chris is frustrated that he didn't turn on that one. Still a 2-1 count. Paton dances off of first base, and he's picked off. That's the second time today that the Oaks have been picked off in a first and third situation.
Just a really good move by Armijo there. Paton was trying to get a lead similar to Drew Smith, but Armijo let him think that he was able to do so, and then really made a really nice move to get that pick off.
And now Wright goes after a pitch in the dirt. Count is now 2-2. Two and two the count to Chris Wright with Drew Smith at third. Infield is in for the Barons. Wright looking to put something in the air. Good take on a fastball. 3-2. First base is open, so Armijo doesn't have to throw a strike to Wright on this pitch. There's a breaking ball that doesn't come back into the strike zone. It's the third straight walk for Calix Armijo. But because he picked off Paton, he has one out and runners at the corners. The Barons' middle infield is now going to back up in an attempt to turn 2 on a ground ball. Man at the plate representing the go-ahead run is Brady Francisco. Francisco's looking to make up for his error in the top half of this inning that allowed the 5th run for the Barons to come across. He's reached once today in a couple plate appearances, getting stranded at third base after his walk. Now Brady's looking to drive in a run. Smith at third, Chris Wright at first. 1 away in this 6th inning. Oaks looking for their first run since the 3rd. 1-1 is inside. 2-1.
End of the 3rd, and Santa Barbara score remains 4-1 in favor of the Foresters.
Big news for the Oaks. They're hoping that score holds. And the outcome of this one would be meaningless. 3-1 now to Francisco. Armijo in danger of walking his 4th hitter of the inning. Francisco in the driver's seat on this pitch. He fouls it back. 3-2 now. Big time pitch from Armijo. Now he's looking to make his best pitch of the day. The count full. The tying run at first base. Go ahead run at the plate. 1 out in a 5-3 ball game. The pitch is inside. 4 batters, 4 walks in this 6th inning. And the Oaks have loaded the bases with 1 out. That 4th walk did not score a run, though, due to Peyton being picked off. Now Zach Schwartzberg up there with bases loaded and 1 out. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it into the parking lot. Zach's grounded out to third base a couple of times today. Just looking to get something to the outfield here. Base hit was high up the game. He pops one up on the infield. Spikes his bat down as an infield fly is called. And Bassett makes the catch for the 2nd out. A massive out, number 2 for Calix Armijo. Now it's up to Mac Moyer to make sure the Oaks pick up a run in this inning after having runners at the corners with nobody out. Moyer is 1 for 3 today. He hits that one right to Bassett at short. Comes across, gets Moyer, and Calix Armijo is able to escape the jam without a run coming across. We head to the final 3rd of this one with the Barons still leading 5-3. Top of the 7th inning here, and it is Scott Rudinsky still on the mound for his 2nd inning, and he gets a 1-pitch ground ball to second. Nate Clough gets his first chance and makes it look easy. Clough looking like second baseman by trade.
Now batting third baseman number 23, Thomas Williams.
Yeah, it looked like Nick Leahy out there. Made that one look pretty easy.
That's a big 1-pitch out for Rudinsky, who threw 19 in that 6th inning and hasn't really thrown multiple innings this summer. One run did come across in that 6th, but won't be charged to Rudinsky as it was an unearned run. Williams goes after this one and rolls it right through the 3-4 hole on the right side. It's a single for Thomas Williams.
Now batting second baseman number 1, Neighbors.
And as we've talked about a lot in the past, and today included, the Oaks don't traditionally pull guys mid-inning. So with Rudinsky starting this 6th, that means he's most likely out there to finish it. It's a tough double play candidate in Neighbors at the plate, but that's what Rudinsky will be looking for here. That one's off outside. Neighbors is 0 for 3 today. Hard to keep him at bay for an entire ball game. It's 2-0. Williams with a very modest lead at first base. Presumably doesn't want to take the bat out of the hands of Neighbors. He's hitting .370 this summer.
With a 500 on base percentage, just absolutely crazy numbers.
And he's also slugging .480, and for a guy his size, you don't really expect that, but he's got some pop.
Yeah, it's really surprising, obviously, with the numbers to see that Kamayu's 0 for 3 coming into that bat today.
He walks on 5 pitches against Rudinsky. First and second now for a very dangerous hitter. That's Dylan Leena.
Berber looking even more professional over there at first base now. He's got the windbreaker on too, cover up the jersey.
Leena leads the team in RBIs this summer with 18.
My sources just let me know that Miggy Rojas is now pitching for the Dodgers.
Oh.
Probably better than Michael Grove.
Rudinsky looking to get a ground ball off the bat of Leena. Falls behind 2-0. Last couple of at-bats, Scott has had some trouble finding the strike zone.
This is a very dangerous hitter to fall behind.
An aggressive hitter too, so if you get the 2-0 pitch he likes, I'm sure he's going to look to drive it. And he does indeed, but rolls it foul. 2-1 the count. Leena was sitting on a fastball there, but still is well out in front. Rudinsky looking to replicate a similar pitch. Wanting to throw a strike here, but also don't want to miss middle against this bat. The This 2-1 comes home, and it's well below the zone. 3-1.
And with Scott struggling to locate pitches, these last two at bats has now prompted Coach Joey to go all the way down to the bullpen to see where Big Mike sat down there.
We know that they want to start Stanford fresh with the clean inning, but they might have no choice if Radinsky gets into too much trouble. The 3-1 pitch to Lena, who fouls it off of his own foot. It's now 3-2. Strikeout would be huge for Radinsky. But right now, just wants to make sure he doesn't walk Lena.
Double play would be even bigger, Josh.
Yes, sir. Looking for something. (3-2) from Radinsky is flown out to right field. Carrillo drifts back a bit, makes the catch. Neighbors tags from first, and both runners advance. Second and third, 2 outs. Did not expect to see Neighbors moving behind Williams, but he got into second easily.
Well, that ball was hit pretty deep as Austin Carrillo was about a step in front of the warning track.
And we are actually going to see a mid-inning pitching change as Coach Solis points down to the bullpen to Mike Stanford. Comes to take the ball from Scott Radinsky, who did just about as much as you can ask for. 1 2/3, an unearned run coming across against Scott. But a nice job pitching for the second time in 3 days. We'll let Mike Stanford throw his warm-up pitches and bring you the rest of the 7th right after that. Mike Stanford is now ready as he enters in a 5-3 ball game. Second and third, 2 outs for the Barons. Scott Radinsky went 1 2/3 through 33 pitches. And And after pitching just 2 days ago, Coach Solis decided that was enough. Stanford steps off the mound after being told to multiple times. He's been very effective out of the bullpen as Mike Stanford. He gets a first pitch ground ball to Schwartzberg. Throws on the run across, and just one pitch needed for Mike Stanford to get out of the jam. The first one to greet him back in the dugout is Scott Radinsky. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. Oaks still chasing 2. As Austin Carrillo steps in, we have received word from Santa Barbara that the Foresters are starting to pull away. They lead 6-1 against the Blues. And what inning are we looking at now?
Bottom 4.
So the Blues still got some time to come back, but things are not looking good for Slow and looking good for the Oaks. That one's in the dirt.
If the Blues lose too.
Not sure if the Oaks are receiving word to their dugout as to what's going on in Santa Barbara.
Tuesday.
Gonna say that they don't care in that dugout and they just want to win this one. Certainly what Coach Solis said to them, I'm sure. As we were told last night right before we got off the bus, let all the players know, win tomorrow and in. The players want it quite bad. 2-2 to Carrillo.
They probably have a workout.
Just 4 hits up to this point for the Oaks through 6 innings. And they've been held scoreless since the 3rd. 2-2 to Carrillo, who's reached all 3 times today, including 2 doubles. This time he goes down on strikes. First strikeout for Armijo. And it's pretty remarkable that the Oaks didn't muster a single run across in the 6th after Armijo walked the first 4 hitters. How is it possible they didn't score? Well, Eli Paton was picked off. And then after they had bases loaded and 1 out, Armijo was able to retire both Schwartzberg and Moyer. It's now the powerful bat of Nate Clough, who's had just 1 plate appearance this summer It was just 2 innings ago. He popped up on the infield. Close. Been getting a lot of appearances out of relief. He's pitched 9 times for the Oaks. This is his first time in the batter's box. Takes a healthy hack and fouls it away. It's 1-1 to Clo. He also got his first ground ball of the summer in the top half of this inning. Making a routine play look routine at second base. And he hits that one towards the dugout, towards the parking lot, I should say, and just over the bus of the Barons. It happened to be driving towards the parking lot right when Clo hit that one. Looks like it's leaving.
Don't know where that bus driver is going.
Yeah. 1-2 the count to Clo, who drives that one to center field,
Down.
and he'll drop for a hit. Hey, Clo picks himself up a knock.
Give me that ball.
So the Oaks dugout's yelling. They want that baseball. That's got to be great to see your teammate coming through with a hit like that. Probably no better feeling for Nate Clo as well. Picks up his first knock in I don't know how long.
He now leads the team with a 500 batting average.
Yeah. And now that allows the tying run to come up. Brendan Durfee. And it sounds like Santa Barbara has officially blown it open against the
8-1.
Blues. 8-1 is the score. Looks like the Oaks will be getting that final playoff spot.
8-1 and a 4.
Sounding like this contest is not going to matter as far as playoff implications go, with the Foresters jumping out to an 8-1 lead, still threatening for more. The Oaks still very much want to win this game. They don't want to crawl into the playoffs losing 4 straight. And Durfee drives that one down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is off the foul pole, and Brendan Durfee has evened it up at 5. Durfee getting a great deal of support from the birthday boy Koji. And that's fired up the boys in the dugout for the Oaks.
4:02. The distance on that one.
Down the right field line.
Yeah, it didn't hit the foul pole, Josh. It went over the foul pole.
That's a moonshot. What's the exit velo? Brendan Durfee turns this game around in one swing. 5-5 now is the new score. As Drew Smith is up there now. For Durfee, that's his first of the summer. He waited until the final game to do so as Smith goes after one, drives it to right center field. It's a really difficult play out there by Troy McCain, who came in as a defensive replacement. Takes away extra bases from Drew Smith.
Oh, and obviously, Josh, that one's got to feel great for Durf, especially, you mentioned it's the first of the summer for him, and that's after putting up nearly, I think, 30 homers in his home run derby winning performance. And so for him to finally unload on one and absolutely barrel up that one and get it to stay fair down that right field line to tie up this ball game is a big one.
Here comes a guy who's hit 2 home runs here as he drives that one into right center. It's going to be a long run, and he can't get there. Having some trouble out there in right field picking it up is McCain, but Peyton stays put at second. It's a 2-out double for Eli Paton.
Really good swing right there from Eli Paton, and the play that McCain made on the ball that Drew Smith hit looms really large, as that would have given the Oaks the lead.
Peyton's been driving the ball this summer. It's another extra base hit for him, and it puts him in scoring position with 2 outs, giving Chris Wright an RBI opportunity. That breaking ball is up. Wright today has walked a couple of times, popped out in the infield. There's another breaking ball from Armijo. This is below the zone. And there is now action in the Barons bullpen, a left-hander up and throwing. Mike Stanford doing some extra stretching in the Oaks bullpen before he enters. Wright rips that one through the right side for a hit. Peyton's getting the wave home. The throw is up the line, and Chris Wright has given the Oaks a 6-5 lead. Some 2-out magic from the Oaks after Paton doubles into the right center field gap, and then Wright drives him home with the single. The Oaks have really been getting to Armijo in this inning. Single from Klo, 2-run bomb from Durfee, 2-out double from Paton, and then a single from Wright to drive him in. Four hits in the inning evens up the Oaks' hit total for the entire game coming into this inning. They had 4, they now have 8. So they double their hit total in just 1 inning.
I mean, Josh, for Armijo, this has just been a brutal outing. I mean, last inning he walked 4 straight batters. He got a couple breaks.
And there's another hit, the 5th of the inning. Wright takes an aggressive turn but heads back to second. 2 on and 2 out for Zach Schwartzberg now.
As I was saying, obviously last inning, 4 straight walks to start the inning. But he does get the pick off on Eli Paton, who was leaning, and then Schwartzberg pops up with the bases loaded in the infield for infield fly, and then the first pitch that Moyer sees, he grounds out the short. This inning, much different story. Really hanging pitches, obviously the single for Klo, obviously the big home run for Durfee, and now Paton, Wright, and Francisco all barreling up the baseballs in 3 straight at-bats here.
The Oaks now have a chance to pick up an insurance run as they lead 6-5, and Zach Schwartzberg's up there now. Not a great day at the plate for Schwartzberg, 0 for 3. But he's got a chance to erase that with a knock right here. Wright stands at second. Francisco at first, both of whom have reached 3 times today. That breaking ball doesn't get the movement that Armijo is looking for. 1-1 the count. Got to imagine the outing is nearing the end for Armijo with the damage that he's allowed and someone up behind him. Could be the last batter either way that Armijo faces.
Ooh.
That looping breaking ball doesn't come back into the strike zone. 2-1. It's been a long inning, but a lot of the damage against Armijo has come early in the count. So his pitch count this inning is still below 20. It's 2-1 to Schwartzberg. It's fouled off of Schwartzberg. 2-2. Mac Moyer, the leadoff hitter, waits on deck as the deuces are wild to Schwartzberg. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Comes the pitch to Zach. Hits it on the ground to shortstop. Bassett is there. He flips to second to get the force out and end the inning, but not before the Oaks plate 3 and flip the script in this one. They enter the bottom of the 7th, trailing 5-3. They enter the top of the 8th, leading 6-5, finding themselves 6 outs away from a playoff berth. The 8th gets a first pitch pop-up towards the mound, towards home plate. Eli Paton comes all the way in to make the catch. Flips the ball back as he crosses home with that flow going.
That's the second time this summer that Eli Paton has made a nice running catch and then flipped the ball to Chris Wright, and Wright was unable to catch it. He did that in foul territory when he was playing first, and Wright was coming in from right field. Flipped it to him, and not on the same page there. Chris Wright still not expecting the flip.
I mean, he flipped it immediately after he made the catch. That one's outside from Stanford, who came in the 7th in a second and third 2-out jam. And the first pitch he threw was rolled over to shortstop for a ground out to end the inning. And with the Oaks plating 3 in the bottom half, Stanford would be in line as the winning pitcher should the score hold. He's fallen behind Andrew Ramirez 2-0. Ramirez hits that one on a line to left field, sends Francisco back, but he's there. And he makes the catch for the second out on 4 pitches for Stanford.
Yeah, and going back to the last inning, that's 5 pitches for 3 outs for Mike.
That's what he does. Generates
Really
that.
efficient. Really efficient.
Yep. Was used primarily as a starter last summer and this spring until he made the transfer commitment to the University of Utah, where he found out that he will be used as a reliever once again. So this summer, the Oaks have turned Stanford back into a very solid bullpen piece. Just 3 earned runs allowed in 6 innings for Stanford, and all of that came in 1 outing. It's been very good. Justin Baldwin, who came in as a defensive replacement, or a pinch hitter. Not sure which one he did first, but came in as a substitute. Did not start this ball game. Flew out to left in the 6th. It's a very lengthy conversation between Durfee and Stanford.
Well, that's because the home plate umpire was hit by the last pitch, so.
There you go. Stanford's out there. I don't know what's going on between Durfee and Stanford, but they're having a ball. 1-2 the count to Justin Baldwin. Durfee a real class act, making sure the home plate umpire is okay. Stanford looking for a 1-2-3-8.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets it. Strike 3 called as Stanford gets Baldwin looking and caps off his 1-2-3-8 with his first strikeout of the day. Oaks just 3 defensive outs away from a big victory. As we head to the bottom of the 8th, they lead 6-5. The new pitcher to begin this 8th inning for the Barons is left-hander Shamir Marshall. This is the 9th appearance for Marshall this summer. In his previous 8, 7 2/3 innings, just 3 earned runs allowed, for an ERA of about 3.5. One of just a few guys on this Barons team with a sub-4 ERA. Moyer today is 1 for 4. That one's up and in, he jumps out of the way. Nobody's warming for the Oaks in the bullpen, so we have to assume that it's going to be Mike Stanford attempting to finish the ball game. He's already pitched an inning and a third out of relief, but very efficient. Just 8 pitches in the 8th, 1 in the 7th. It's a 1-1 count to Mac Moyer. Hits that one foul. 1-2. In Marshall's 7 2/3 innings, he struck out 11 batters. Moyer's able to stay alive. Foul another one away. Difficult guy to strike out is Mac Moyer. By far the Oaks team leader in at-bats. 16 strikeouts this summer. He goes after that breaking ball, hits it into right field for a hit. Heads towards the corner as McCain bounces into the wall, and Moyer heads for second, his second hit of the day.
And Mac hit a very similar baseball in batting practice today, where he just got around it and just lined it down the right field line and gets it to drop in for a nice extra base hit.
It was interesting after McCain cut that off. He ran a few more steps and leapt into the wall in right field. Another lefty-lefty matchup for Marshall. So he'll get 4 of these to begin this 8th inning. There is action behind Marshall, which is a right-hander, and that could just be until Marshall's done with this slew of lefties. Moyer, Carrillo, Clo, Durfee. And he gets a right-hander in Smith, but then another back-to-back lefties in Paton and Wright. Carrillo fouls that one over the Oaks dugout.
Of course, this has been a long summer for the Oaks. A lot of injuries to both position players and arms. The guys are tired. It's been a long summer, but just getting into the playoffs, you never know what can happen. And especially with guys like Carrillo, Moyer, Moyer, and especially Brendan Durfee, who have all gotten really hot at the right time. You just really never know. Oaks can try to make another run, try to get to the finals of the CCL once again.
Well, and should they get past those first 2 rounds and make it to the finals, it would be a home series for the Oaks, as they are hosting the championship round here at Sparky Anderson Field. Nate Clo up there with first and second, nobody out. Not sure how much experience lately he's had bunting the ball, but this would be an ideal time for that. Clo shows, and he pulls back, ducks out of the way with a fastball from Marshall. Not sure if Clo's going to bunt again, unless he was given the sign before his at-bat. He did not look down to third for a sign in that pitch. He's showing early. Might just be a fake. No, he gets it down. Marshall goes over, throws to third, and Moyer is thrown out. It's an easier play for a left-hander than a right-handed pitcher. Marshall does a nice job of staying composed and getting Moyer at third.
I think that was exactly the case there, Marshall being a lefty. If he was right-handed, I don't think he has a chance at third.
It's another lefty-lefty matchup for Marshall, but this time it's Brendan Durfee. Durfee unloaded on a 2-run homer last inning. That was his second and third runs batted in today. So he had a sacrifice fly back in the first. He's really just been hitting the cover off the ball the last couple of days. He watches that one miss off the plate, 1-1. Barron's dugout unhappy with that call. The umpire looks towards the dugout and just claps, kind of telling them to knock it off. It's 1-1 to Durfee. Durfee's been very hot, having a 4-for-4 day yesterday. Bunch of line drives, some extra base hits. Today's that home run, of course, and the sac fly. Durfee doing the catching duties today. Obviously been in the lineup every day, but it's been back and forth between catcher first and the DH role. And he's now in a favorable 3-1 count. Scary pitch incoming from Marshall, who doesn't want to walk Durfee to load the bases, but also doesn't want to give a cookie to one of the best hitters in the CCL. Should Durfee get one he likes, I expect him to take a big rip at it. And he fouls it away. Back over our heads. And the count runs full. Carrillo at second, Clo at first. Durfee does not strike out very often. We'll see if they have them in motion. With a left-handed bat, it would be tough to steal third base. 3-2 to Durf. Foul tipped. Gets a bigger piece of Laureano than it did of the bat.
Catcher on catcher crime there.
Durfee's checking with him to make sure he's all good. Immediately, the first thing he did was looked over to Laureano, and they're still chatting it up. Durfee knows the feeling. Stays alive after a nice 3-2 pitch from Marshall. Be another 3-2 pitch from Marshall to Durfee. Fouls it away. Marshall and Durfee in a battle to see who can outlast the other. Marshall's fired in 2 strikes since the count went full. Durfee's fouled them both away. Looking for a pitch to hit here. He goes down on strikes. Really good location on that from Marshall, and he gets Durfee swinging, just something that's very difficult to do.
Now batting, designated hitter number 38.
As Durfee heads back to the dugout, Drew Smith comes up. He drove in a run today on a fielder's choice back in the first. Also walked and was stranded on third to end the 6th. Once again, Mike Stanford doing some additional stretching in the Oaks dugout. He's been sitting for some long innings. The Oaks looking to take advantage of starting this inning with 2 base runners and nobody out. Looking for an insurance run to pick up as they lead by just 1, 6-5 the score. Carrillo out there at second representing a big insurance run. And Drew Smith ahead of the count 2-0. Smith is going to be looking for something to drive in this 2-0 count. Three now. Marshall in danger of walking the bases loaded. Eli Paton, another lefty, waits on deck.
Mike Stanford has looked really good on the mound, but he would absolutely love an insurance run or 2 here.
Smith walks on 4 pitches. That loads the bases for Eli Paton, and it prompts a mound visit as well.
Number 20, Eli Paton.
Been a few mound visits in this one, Josh.
Yes, and with that mound visit, someone has now gotten up in the bullpen for the Barons. There was someone warming last inning. He sat down. He was starting actually to begin this inning, sat down, and now he's back up. Both Paton and the on-deck hitter, Chris Wright, are lefties. So it's a couple of favorable matchups for Marshall. He does have 2 outs, so just 1 pitch away. It's Eli Paton, who's 1 for 3 today. The walk and a double, in which he came around to score on after. Looking to give the Oaks some insurance runs with Carrillo at third, Clo at second. Drew Smith over there at first. That one's at the bottom of the zone for a called strike. That one's in the dirt, 1-1. Carrillo's dancing off the bag at third base. See if he does so again right now, trying to get Marshall to balk. The 1-1 home. Cut out and missed. 1-2. Marshall looking for a huge strikeout, get his team back in the dugout, and give them a chance in the 9th. Paton looking to drive in a couple runs, give the Oaks some breathing room. The 1-2 from Marshall. In the dirt, excellent stop from Laureano.
Clutch defense right there from Laureano. Had to dive into the right-handed batter's box to make sure that Carrillo stayed at third. If you're Paton right now, you just gotta shorten up and battle, try to put this ball in play, force the defense to make a play. All the pressure is on the Barons right now.
The 2-2 count to Paton, who drives that one out to deep center. Baldwin goes back, still going back, and he makes the catch just shy of the warning track and straight away center field. Eli Paton really got a hold of that one, but Justin Baldwin was able to track it down. As Big Mike Stanford is already out there on the mound, ready to close out the ball games and give the Oaks their 3rd consecutive playoff berth. Well, we've reached the 9th in this one. 6-5, the Oaks lead. 3 outs away from going to the CCL playoffs for the 4th time in 5 years, the 3rd year in a row. The Oaks were CCL champs in 2018, and they have not missed the playoffs since 2019, other than the 2020 COVID year where there was no CCL. 2-0 the count to Alex Laureano. Mike Stanford looking to finish out the game. He's already thrown an inning and a third, only needing 9 pitches to get those 4 outs. Fires one on the outside corner for a strike. The Oaks offense started hot, scoring 3 runs in the first 3 innings, and it went ice cold for the middle innings, not scoring between the 3rd and until the 7th, where they played 3 in the inning thanks to a Brendan Durfee 2-run homer and then an RBI single from Chris Wright to give them the lead. Mike Stanford walks the leadoff man Laureano in the 9th, and that flips the lineup over to the true leadoff hitter in the lineup, Anthony Bassett, coming up for the Barons. Bassett is 0 for 4 today. Laureano is going to take a very small lead with the left-hander Stanford on the mound. Definitely don't want to have the tying run picked off in the 9th. Stanford looking to close the book on this regular season for the Oaks with a win. Bassett gets the bunt down this time, and it goes foul. But the Oaks are arguing that it hit the batter of Bassett out of the box. Even if it hit him, I think he was still in the batter's box. But Coach Solis is out for just a very quick word, and the umpires are going to meet up.
Coach Solis just asking to come together and see if anyone saw that.
Got the angle.
From where we are, it's very difficult to tell what happened.
I don't think so. I think he was
The first base
If
umpire.
it did get him, he was
In the box, right?
The first base umpire seemed pretty on top of it right away.
Yes. So
Very vocal umpire, first base umpire.
Bassett stays up there, but he is in an 0-2 hole. Stanford looking for a strikeout right now. Picked up a strikeout to end his 8th. He picks up another one here. Anthony Bassett goes down on strikes. That's the 2nd consecutive out that Stanford has recorded via the punch-out. Stanford is now a Thomas Williams double play ball away from a playoff spot for the Oaks. Williams today is 1 for 3. 1 for 4, actually. Did reach on an error earlier in the ballgame. Just the 1 single for Williams. Misses arm side again, does Stanford. 1-1 the count. Should Stanford finish this inning and finish the game, it would cap off his longest appearance of the summer. I believe he's already topped his longest. Tries to go with the backdoor breaking ball. Doesn't catch the corner.
Should Williams try to get the bunt down, he's really got to make sure that he gets it down the lines, because Laureano is getting a very poor secondary lead, and if the bunt is bunted back to Stanford, he'll have a good shot of going to second base.
Well, now with 2 strikes, that virtually eliminates a bunt attempt for Williams. The count is even up at 2. Loriano with a very small lead over there at first base. Stanford comes home.
Oh, yeah.
And Williams swings through it. Run out away. That's 3 consecutive outs that Stanford has picked up with the strikeout. Stanford is not out of the woods by any means. Neighbors up there with a tying run at first, representing the go-ahead run at the plate. That one just misses outside. Neighbors today is 0 for 3 with a walk. Stanford does not want to see Dylan Lena come up. He's waiting on deck. 2-0. It's the second consecutive hitter that Stanford has fallen behind 2-0. He was able to bounce back against Williams and pick up the strikeout. He'll look to do the same thing right here. His 2-0 pitch is driven out to left field. Brady Francisco goes back, keeps going back, and he makes the catch. And the Oaks are going to the playoffs. Neighbors got a hold of that one and kept making Francisco track towards the wall. He made a catch on the run just in front of the wall to make the catch and give the Oaks a 6-5 victory. Foresters are taking care of business against the Blues, but that doesn't matter as the Oaks win and are now in the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive season, and they will travel to take on the OC Riptide beginning on Tuesday. Wild card round Tuesday, divisional round Wednesday, with the championship coming next weekend here at Sparky Anderson Field. Today's contest was won thanks to a Brendan Durfee 2-run game-tying homer, which earned himself player of the game duties. For all of us here, the Oaks broadcast crew, Sammy, Holladay, Austin, Gregory, I'm Josh Mechanick, and we'll talk to you guys later this week for the playoffs.